Modern guys will spend 3 hours researching the perfect motivational quote for their Instagram story, then wonder why their life looks exactly the same as it did 6 months ago. Machiavelli didn't need inspirational content, he was the content. In this video you'll learn about the 5 critical mistakes that keep men stuck in endless self-improvement cycles, and discover how to apply Machiavelli's strategic principles to your daily life so you can finally transform from someone who talks about change into someone who silently achieves it. Here's the brutal truth about your current situation. You're that guy at every family gathering, the one your relatives ask, "So, what's new?" And you mumble something about working on yourself while secretly wondering why nothing actually changes. You've read the self-help books, watched the motivation videos, maybe even bought that expensive course promising to transform your life in 30 days. Yet here you are, still scrolling through success stories of other men while your own potential remains locked away like a treasure chest you can't figure out how to open. The problem isn't your effort, it's your strategy. Most men your age are fighting the wrong battle entirely. They're trying to fix their image before understanding the fundamental rules of the game. It's like trying to renovate your house while it's still on fire. Machiavelli understood something that modern self-improvement gurus completely miss. A prince must imitate the fox and the lion, for the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. But here's what he really meant: before anyone can respect your transformation, you must first respect the process of strategic thinking. Think about it, when was the last time you saw a truly successful man frantically posting motivational quotes on social media or constantly talking about his journey? Never. Because he understands something crucial about power dynamics that you're about to discover. If this strategy sounds like something you need to hear, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more insights that actually work instead of just sounding motivational. Now let's dive into why your current approach is sabotaging your future. The first major mistake you're making is broadcasting your transformation before you've actually transformed. Machiavelli warned us. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. You're showing everyone your process instead of your results. Every time you post about your new workout routine, your latest business idea, or your personal development goals, you're actually weakening your position. Why? Because now everyone is watching and waiting for you to fail. Consider this scenario: you meet an old college friend at a coffee shop. He looks exactly the same as 5 years ago, but when you ask what he's been up to, he casually mentions he just bought his second rental property and started a consulting business that's booked solid for the next 6 months. You're shocked because his social media never mentioned any of this. Meanwhile, your other friend from college has been posting daily updates about his entrepreneurial journey for 2 years, and he's still working the same job, just more stressed about it. This is the difference between strategic silence and performative transparency. The second major mistake is confusing validation with motivation. When you announce your plans publicly, you trigger what psychologists call social reality. People form expectations, and suddenly you're not just working toward your goals, you're performing them for an audience. This divides your energy between genuine progress and managing how others see it. Machiavelli understood this. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Announcing a goal gives you a quick hit of satisfaction from positive reactions, likes, comments, encouragement, which your brain mistakes for partial achievement. That's why people who talk about their goals are often less likely to reach them. They've already enjoyed some of the reward. Today, the obsession with documenting every step has become a sophisticated form of procrastination. Instead of doing the hard, invisible work of real change, many curate its appearance, spending more time perfecting posts about their morning routine than improving it, or researching the best gym selfie angles instead of the best training programs. The third major mistake is misunderstanding the timeline of transformation. Most men expect steady, visible progress and validation at every step. In reality, growth is cyclical, long stretches of invisible work followed by sudden breakthroughs. As Machiavelli wrote, "Whoever wishes to foresee the future must consult the past, for human events ever resemble those of preceding times." In self-development, it's safer to be known for results than for intentions. 6 months of skill building, business planning, or training may show little on the surface. Post constant updates, and you'll be seen as someone working on something. Stay silent and reveal the outcome later, you'll be seen as someone who has achieved. That difference shapes your social position. At any gathering, there's the guy who endlessly talks about his latest project, diet, or workout. People nod, but think, "Big talk, little proof." Then there's the quiet one who listens, speaks only when asked, and drops a significant accomplishment into the conversation. He earns attention because his record is built on results, not promises. The fourth major mistake is underestimating the power of controlled revelation. Once you have genuine results, how you reveal them can be as important as the results themselves. Machiavelli understood that timing and context are everything. Suddenly broadcasting your achievements after a long silence can look like overcompensation. Instead, let your results emerge naturally through conversation and action. That could mean wearing clothes that subtly show your improved physique instead of explaining your workout routine. Casually mentioning a business milestone only when it's relevant, rather than narrating your entrepreneurial journey. Demonstrating a skill when the situation calls for it, without pre-announcing your training. These moments make people think, "I didn't know he could do that," or "I didn't realize he was that successful." The same applies to career growth. Gaia posts constant LinkedIn updates about his courses, industry articles, and ambitions. Guy B rarely posts, but when he comments, it's sharp, insightful, and proves deep expertise. When promotions come up, it's Guy B who gets the call. He shows readiness without advertising it. This pattern repeats everywhere. In fitness, women notice the man who's visibly in shape, not the one documenting every gym session. In business, investors back the man with traction, not the one brimming with enthusiasm. In social life, people are drawn to those with real experiences to share, not endless plans to someday have them. The fifth major mistake is believing that transparency equals authenticity. You're probably thinking, "This sounds like manipulation or being fake." This is where most men get it wrong. Strategic privacy isn't about deception, it's about optimizing your development process and managing your social capital effectively. You're not lying about anything. You're simply choosing to focus your energy on actual development rather than the performance of development. Machiavelli's insight. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Points out that results matter more than intentions. In personal development, your good intentions don't matter if they don't lead to good results. Your inspiring posts don't matter if they don't lead to actual inspiration in your own life. The strategic approach is more ethical because it's focused on actually becoming better rather than appearing to become better. You're not trying to be someone else or live up to someone else's definition of success. You're simply becoming the best version of yourself through consistent, focused effort. You're letting your results speak for themselves rather than speaking for your results. And when your results do speak, they speak with a voice that's impossible to ignore or dismiss. If you want to dive even deeper, watch the video 5 Reasons to Drop the Good Guy Mask as soon as you can. The link is on the screen and in the description section. Now that we've covered why strategic silence matters, let's talk about the how. The smarter path is what's called stealth development. You work on yourself with the same or even greater intensity, but you do it off the radar, reading without posting quotes, training without gym selfies, building the business without broadcasting every step, mastering skills without announcing the courses. This protects you from premature satisfaction, removes the pressure of outside expectations, and keeps the element of surprise, one of the most powerful assets in any competition. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." In modern terms, you need the fox's cunning to avoid the traps of validation, and the lion's strength to execute without applause. When you emerge from quiet work with a better body, a new skill, or a business win, people don't think, "Finally, he did it." They think, "Where did that come from?" That mystery is worth more than a reputation for good intentions. But here's the trap: some men swing too far, isolating themselves completely. That's not strategy, it's withdrawal. The key is knowing the difference between strategic privacy and antisocial secrecy. Privacy means you don't broadcast your process, but you still engage, build relationships, and position yourself for opportunities. As Machiavelli warned, hatred is gained as much by good works as by evil ones. It's better to be respected for results than liked for personality, but ideally, you want both. The way to get both is selective revelation. You show value through action, not announcements. You answer when asked, but you don't volunteer your progress as bait for validation. If someone asks about your training, you share based on results. If they ask about your business, you speak from experience. People see you as a resource, not a project. In practice, that means quietly developing skills and proving them when it matters. Training consistently and letting your appearance speak. Building a business until there's real traction. And becoming the kind of person who attracts quality relationships without advertising that fact. It's harder, because it demands patience, discipline, and the strength to resist quick approval. But here's the paradox: the men who choose this harder path end up with easier lives. Those who chase instant validation end up with long-term struggle. Those who delay gratification enjoy sustained satisfaction. Machiavelli understood this principle in the context of political power. He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done, sooner affects his ruin than his preservation. In personal development, this translates to, he who focuses on looking good rather than being good, sooner affects his stagnation than his growth. The first step is audit your current communication patterns. Look at your social media posts, your conversations, your emails, your text messages. How much of your communication is about your goals, plans, and development efforts versus your results, insights, and value you can provide to others? Most men are shocked when they do this audit. They realize they've been talking about what they want to do more than what they've actually done. They've been sharing their struggles more than their solutions. They've been asking for support more than offering value. The second step is to gradually shift this ratio. You don't need to stop all communication about your personal development, but you want to dramatically reduce it. Instead of posting about the book you're reading, post a useful insight after you've finished it and had time to apply it. Instead of sharing your workout video, share your results after you've achieved them. Instead of talking about your business idea, talk about your business results after you have them. The third step is to redirect your communication energy toward providing value to others. This serves multiple purposes. It positions you as a resource rather than a project. It builds genuine relationships based on mutual benefit rather than one-sided support. And it keeps you connected socially without falling into the trap of performing your development journey. The fourth step is to develop what I call strategic responsiveness. You don't initiate conversations about your development, but you respond thoughtfully when others ask. This maintains your social connections while avoiding the trap of unsolicited self-promotion. The fifth step is to create what I call result reveal moments. These are planned opportunities to demonstrate your development through action rather than announcement. This might mean volunteering for a project that uses skills you've been developing. It might mean suggesting a solution to a problem using knowledge you've gained. It might mean stepping up in a situation where your improved capabilities can make a difference. But let's be honest about the challenges of this approach. The biggest challenge is dealing with your own psychological needs for validation and encouragement. Humans are social creatures, and we naturally want to share our experiences and get support for our efforts. Strategic silence can feel lonely and isolating, especially in the beginning. The solution is to find alternative sources of validation and support that don't compromise your strategic position. This might mean working with a coach or mentor who can provide feedback and encouragement privately. It might mean joining a mastermind group or private community where you can share your development journey with like-minded people. It might mean finding an accountability partner who understands and supports this approach. Another challenge is dealing with other people's expectations and assumptions. When you stop sharing your development journey publicly, some people might assume you've given up on growth or become secretive and antisocial. You might need to have conversations with close friends and family members about your new approach to personal development. The way to handle this is with simple, honest explanations that don't require anyone else to change their approach. You might say something like, "I've found I'm more effective when I focus on doing the work rather than talking about it." Or "I prefer to let my results speak for themselves." Most people will respect this, and the ones who don't probably weren't supporting your growth anyway. Now, let's talk about the long-term benefits of this approach. First, you make faster, more sustainable progress. When you stop performing your growth and just focus on it, all your energy goes into the work, not the presentation. You're driven by internal results, not external approval. Second, your reputation and influence grow naturally. When you reappear with visible results, people assume you're highly competent. They don't see the failures, the trial and error, just the outcome. Third, your decision-making improves. Without having to justify every move publicly, you can adapt, pivot, and optimize based on what actually works, not on staying consistent with past statements. Fourth, you build authentic confidence, rooted in proven ability, not in likes or comments. And perhaps the biggest benefit is freedom. When you stop performing your life for others, you reclaim it. You make choices based on real growth, not optics. You can experiment, fail, and change direction without the weight of other people's expectations. Machiavelli's final lesson for modern men is this: it is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Your reputation will be built on what you accomplish, not what you announce. Your influence will come from what you can do, not what you say you want to do. Your success will be measured by your results, not your intentions. Here's the thing: if Machiavelli were alive today, his LinkedIn would have 0 posts about grinding or hustling. It would just say former advisor to the Medici family. Currently available for strategic consulting. And somehow, that would be more impressive than every motivation guru combined. We've just explored the power of strategic silence in personal development, but to truly master this approach, you need to understand the psychology of influence and why some men naturally command respect while others constantly seek it. Watch the whole playlist. Power is designed for more insights. Because in the end, power isn't about proving you're working hard, it's about making it impossible for anyone to ignore the results. The men who speak less, reveal selectively, and let their actions define them don't just play the game better, they change the rules entirely. They create an aura that makes people lean in, wonder what else they might be capable of, and think twice before underestimating them. And that's the quiet truth Machiavelli understood centuries ago: when your results speak, you don't have to. Your silence becomes strategy, your presence becomes authority, and your accomplishments become the only introduction you'll ever need.